It's taken me a while to make this video because I honestly wasn't sure how to approach this topic. In this video, I will be discussing topics that may be triggering to some and using trigger words that you may not be comfortable hearing. If you feel this video may not be suitable for you, then please do yourself a favor and click off or stay because it may just open up your eyes to something you weren't aware of. Wow, you're so skinny. Do you even eat? You're as flat as an ironing board.
How do you guys
If I
find you
picked you up,
attractive?
you would go eat a hamburger. Are you
You're
sick?
just skin and bone.
Growing up, I was always told that I was lucky because I was skinny. A lot of the time, I was put on a pedestal because of my weight. And I started to think that this was okay, that this was normal. I remember when I first started going into puberty, my breasts started growing much quicker than any of the other girls', and height-wise, I was much taller than the average girl. I remember how much this started to worry and scare me. I didn't want to be seen as this abnormally tall girl with bigger boobs than everyone else. So I started wearing baggy t-shirts to cover what was underneath, and I prayed every single night to stop growing taller. I felt ashamed for something so natural that was happening to me. Fast forward years later, and being a tall girl with curves was now in. And yes, you guessed it, I started wishing I could be taller than the average girl. I was so mad at myself for praying not to grow anymore. How could I have been so stupid? I would look at my body and just see flatness everywhere. In my eyes, I was so skinny, and the image I saw in front of the mirror upset me. I didn't feel tall, sexy, or curvy. I looked nothing like those girls. You know, the ones that everyone wants to look like and be like? The word skinny started to haunt me. Every time I heard it, I felt like I was just going one step backwards. When I was around 20 years old, I had my final exam at university. Since I was a theater major, it was a performance-based exam where we had to perform a final showcase. See, there are two types of people: the ones who rely on food when they are stressed, and the ones who avoid food when they are stressed. I'm the second. During my performance week, I was extremely stressed, nervous, anxious, and I mean the list goes on. That week, I was rapidly losing weight without even realizing it. I was eating from time to time, but I just wasn't hungry. I constantly felt sick with anxiety and would unintentionally avoid eating. All of my time and energy was spent on nailing my performance, and as stupid as it sounds, I forgot what it was to eat. I remember after each performance, people from the audience would come up to me and say things like, "Wow, you looked so good up there," or "You look amazing in that dress," or "Your figure is incredible." And yes, in the moment, it felt good to hear those words. But where were the comments on my performance? Was my acting good? Had I portrayed the character well? Why were people only focusing on what my body looked like? If I hadn't lost those extra kilograms that week, would they still be saying all of this? This was the lowest I had been in my life. Standing tall at 172 centimeters, I weighed only 48 kilograms. I felt fragile, I felt destructive, and I felt unhealthy. But I was constantly receiving compliments, and that was a huge problem. As time went by, I started eating whatever and whenever I wanted. I didn't really care about the nutritional value of the food as long as I was eating to make sure I could gain weight. I met my boyfriend in 2017, and I remember thinking, wow, this guy is extremely health conscious and really cares about his body image. And although I also cared to a certain extent, we cared in opposite ways. He was afraid to gain weight, whilst I was afraid to lose weight. We gradually began to introduce each other to different ways of eating and living. I got him to eat cake and drink wine, whilst he introduced me to oats, which is still my obsession almost 5 years later. We found a wonderful balance between eating healthy and well, but also allowing ourselves to have a treat and enjoy life by occasionally eating and drinking whatever the hell we wanted. I have never, ever felt judged or received any critical comments about my body from my boyfriend. He's always accepted me 100% the way I am and always told me that I look great no matter what I look like. But it's this image that I took in Bali in 2018 that made me question my entire appearance. I remember so well how much I wanted to take a cute Instagram photo, just like all the other girls, make it sexy, creative, and appealing, but all I saw were flaws. Cellulite, no ass, rolls. Maybe you don't see it, but I see it. And that's my point. I gradually became addicted to working out and trying to gain weight in order to achieve that perfect body that was constantly being displayed in the media. The words curvy and thick were constantly circulating my mind, and it was my goal to have curves, to have an ass, to be able to be seen as sexy and not skinny. The journey was slow and overwhelming. I was constantly eating massive portions and sometimes forcing food down my throat even though I had eaten enough and I wasn't hungry anymore. But no, I had to finish the entire plate, otherwise I could potentially go back to being skinny again, and that wouldn't be okay. Soon enough, my body started developing a bit more of a shape and I gained a bit of weight. I can very vividly remember how happy that made me. I stepped on that scale and saw a number that was larger than what it used to be, and I was over the moon. But there was one issue. This wasn't a lifestyle that I could happily and sustainably continue. I knew that I needed to find a balance between everything. I had to stop focusing on how my body looked and start focusing on how my body felt. And at that time, my mind and my body were so exhausted from trying to constantly chase this perfect body image that I thought I had to have. A couple of years have passed since my obsession with gaining weight. I am now in a much better place where I have found a healthy balance with working out, eating well, treating myself, and also just being happy. I realized something that I should have realized years ago. I will never be that thick, curvy girl. I just won't. My body isn't built that way, and that's okay. I now focus on having a positive and healthy mindset, and the type of food I consume definitely plays a huge part in this. Becoming vegan is a choice I made at the start of 2021, and the only thing I regret about it is not converting sooner. A lot of people tell me that they are afraid to go vegan to not trigger any past disorders they've had. Personally, I have never focused on veganism as a lifestyle that will encourage me to lose weight. For me, vegan food is anything but that. I know that with or without a vegan lifestyle, my weight is irrelevant, but my mindset is in a much better place. The reason I was urged to make this video is because of something that happened about a week ago. I met up with an acquaintance of mine that I haven't seen in years. Instantly, she said to me, "Wow, you're so skinny," and my heart sank. That one word I absolutely dread was just said to me at a time when I thought I was doing so well. I instantly became defensive and said something along the lines of, "No, I've always been the same way, you just haven't seen me in a while." When I got home that evening, I stood in front of the mirror and I hated what I saw. Now, I know that she didn't mean that in a malicious and hurtful way. She is actually someone who is constantly trying to lose weight, diet, and achieve a slimmer figure. So her intention was to compliment me because that's the body image that seems great in her eyes. However, every single one of us sees our body differently to how others see us. You wouldn't go up to a bigger person and say, "Wow, you're really fat, you gained a lot of weight." So what makes it okay to go to a slimmer person and comment on their appearance? Society has made it seem like if you are a slim and skinny individual, then you are instantly blessed. You are so lucky that you are forbidden to have insecurities. How dare you complain about your weight? Can't you see how fortunate you are that you are skinny? This is a huge reason why I was afraid to speak up about this. However, I know that there are other girls out there like me who feel the same. And I also know that there are also a lot of girls out there who think every skinny girl is automatically happy and confident. Well, I'm living proof that this isn't true. I'm not ungrateful for my body. I love myself and I'm blessed that my body functions well, looks great, and is healthy. But please don't think that just because society says one body is more socially acceptable than the other, that it's the body you need to have. We are all going through our own battles, and it's impossible to know what triggers someone and what doesn't. So next time you feel the need to compliment someone, say something like, "You're glowing," or "You look so healthy and happy," or simply just say, "You look amazing," and leave out words like fat, skinny, thick, thin, curvy, because one single word can enable a whole world of emotions for someone, and you wouldn't even know it. It's very rare that you'll find a video on the internet talking about weight gain, as most are focused on the exact opposite. But in my eyes, there is no right nor wrong. Both sides have their own struggles, and it's time we accept this. I think that's the hardest video I've made. It's difficult to talk about it because I don't know how it's going to be perceived. It's a really important message that I felt like I had to share because I do feel like there are a lot of girls who are in my position but are afraid to say anything or are afraid to, I wouldn't call it complain because I'm not complaining, I'm sharing my story. The complaints are held within and have been in my head there mentally for years. Excuse my room, it's quite messy, it's laundry day. I hope my message doesn't get lost in translation. It is scary as a skinny person to talk about your weight, because as I mentioned in the video, being skinny is seen as a privilege. You cannot have any remarks about being skinny because it wouldn't be fair on people who maybe aren't so skinny themselves. But I think this needs to change. I think every single person can have body insecurities, whatever their weight may be. And that was the point of my video, is that you have no idea what's going on in someone's head. You could see them a certain way, but they could be seeing themselves in a whole different way that you could never imagine. I'm also a human. I also have emotions. I also have feelings, and I also have insecurities. And it doesn't matter what my weight is, I still have those insecurities, because it's such a taboo topic to talk about weight when you are clearly very slim. But I want to normalize this because there are also slim people who are suffering and not feeling confident and not happy maybe, who are also being bullied, by the way. It's a very risky topic and it's a risky video, but the message is so strong and important to me that I'm willing to take that risk, and whoever sees my point sees my point. Whoever doesn't, well, they don't, and that's okay too. I can't control what people are gonna think of this video, but I just hope that you're able to see past the "you're skinny, you shouldn't be making videos like this, you shouldn't be complaining, your weight is fine." And it's not always the case that a skinny person really wants to be skinny or even skinnier. Sometimes there are cases where we are uncomfortable being so skinny and we actually want to gain weight, but we find it really, really difficult to gain weight. It's our genetics, it's our metabolism, and it's just the way we're built. And accepting that can also be very, very hard. So be kind to people, you know? Choose your words wisely and carefully, but you just have to be very careful when you are addressing someone's body image, because you just don't know. You have no idea what battles are going on inside their head. You don't want to hurt anyone, so just be careful with how you talk. I really hope this video doesn't hurt anyone's feelings, trigger anyone. I mean, I did have a warning at the beginning, so, you know, if you did watch it, thank you so much for watching. You know, I appreciate the support. I hope that you got something out of it. I don't know. I wanted to make it, and that's all I've got to say, and I'm gonna go now. So yeah, I'm gonna go. I don't know how to end this, but I'm gonna go. Love yourself. I love you. You're beautiful. We are built the way we're built for a reason, and we're gorgeous. Love from me to you. I'll see you next time. Subscribe if you haven't, because there's gonna be some fun content on here, especially for those who are looking to gain weight. There's gonna be content. So yeah, I'll see you next time.